Show us one more time, Dave. We're going live. I want to see that again.
Say again?
Show us one more time. We're going live now. I want to see it. Oh, beautiful. Dang. That is nice. So you just finished workout for the morning?
That's polo workout right now.
Oh, cool. Well, we are live, David. So thanks for coming.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks.
Nate, what's up, buddy? You good?
I made it.
We're in. We're live.
Hey there, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm trying to get the volume turned up here a little bit. I can't hear you real well.
Got a quick question for you. Is the 13th? Oh, this isn't. I guess this is your first Pac-12 championship title, huh?
This was my first Pac-12 championship, and it was I was surprised, honestly, because I had heard the Pac-10's like super low key, and it's sort of quiet in the building, and with only 6 teams, and and I'll be honest with you, it was I wouldn't say it was SEC level of craziness and full intensity, but it was very good atmosphere for performance. The parents, I would say, of the different teams created a great atmosphere in the bleachers for each of the teams and across the board. And I think that set a little bit of energy in the building. And then the fact that there was a good team race between Stanford and Arizona State and Cal, I think added a lot to that. I mean, SC had a lot of good swims. And to be honest with you, Utah, I thought brought a lot of good energy as well. And then we sat next to Arizona, and they were constantly, celebrating, big swims. So I think it was the environment of the meet surprised me and pleasantly surprised me. And it was an impressive setting.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, you seem to work some magic again, like you have in the past. And I'm not saying it was all you, but the team was down on Saturday by a good 100 points. And you've been in a similar position before where you've had to come back to win a championship. So it wasn't surprising for you, but I mean, it's pretty awesome when you can pull that off on the last day.
Yeah, what was surprising for me was not surprising, honestly. I said to the Cal team when I was talking to them, and I was talking to Dave early on when I arrived here, I said, looks like you guys have the chance to have a hell of a last day. They have a lot of good 200 strokers. Mm-hmm. And Dave does a lot of his training, I think, directed toward sort of 200 swimming. So I felt like there would be some good stuff going on that last day. And sure enough, they came through very well that day. And I think just also having the confidence of knowing they've got a big last day helps the team as well.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna try to go to headphones because I'm not hearing you very well.
Okay.
No sweat. Well, it definitely seems like the Pac-12 has leveled up a little bit. A couple of the teams that had, kind of been on the bottom for a little bit they've gotten a little bit better, a little bit better. And Arizona State, obviously, huge momentum after the big redshirt year. For everybody, obviously, there's a lot of fifth years. You guys had a lot of fifth years that were winning titles. Trenton Julian won another title. I guess one of the team that kind of impressed me the most was also Stanford. They swam amazing. They're winning relays. They had freshmen doing things, and that was one of the questions I had for you, Coach. Was I think he's from Israel. I would assume that you probably had some time to spend with him, but this guy Ron Polanski, who swam at Stanford, he was amazing. If Leon wasn't there at Arizona, he might have got the freshman of the year with his swims. Have you coached him? Have you had any time with him? I know he has a sister that swims for Cal also. So
who swam great, yeah. So yeah, I know Ron and Leah really well. Obviously, they're 2 of our top national swimmers in Israel. Ron is the guy that when I first worked with Israel 4 years ago, I said, this is our most talented, Israeli in all four strokes. And so it was really great to see that blossom. It really blossomed at this conference meet. It was coming a little bit already. I mean, if you watched him in the dual meet against Cal, he was a force there. He just isn't like winning events. He's right there, in 151 breaststroke. I mean, my goodness, that's Israel hasn't had that good of breaststroker when you take it the long course in a long, long time. So, yeah, that was as much as I'm on the Cal staff and I was trying to set things up for Cal, I was thoroughly enjoying watching Ron have the success he was having. It was very exciting, and he has a lot more upside for the future. He's not killing anybody underwater. He's swimming a little bit more above water, and these are things he can keep developing. So yeah, I think that Ron and Leah, they come from the Haifa program, and I think had a lot of sort of big backgrounds, solid aerobic background. They both have 4 really good strokes, and I think when you look at that combination, they joined the team setting, and all the Israelis that have gone to college, they're just sort of blown away by the team atmosphere. They just, it's hard to duplicate that in any other setting, and I think they're thoroughly enjoying that part of it.
So let me say this, David, then, not to put you on the spot with predictions or anything, but how do we stop this, this Texas onslaught then? Like you've just won 5 years in a row at Cal, you and Dave and the Cal man, 5th year in a row winning the conference, but now you're coming into the NCAA and it's almost going to be like the 5th year in a row of, finishing second to Texas kind of thing. So it's like, how do we stop this, or how do you stop it? Not me, but you and the Cal guys. Obviously, you're going in on paper again, another year where it's kind of like on paper the swimming is head to head. I mean, you're both stacked, you're both talented, but then it comes down to Texas having diving again, and it's that same old story that the divers are going to score a lot of points for them. So it's like, is there a way around this? Can you finally crack this code where you can overcome this diving difference?
Well, I think Brett, when I was at Auburn, we in the early years didn't have good diving. In fact, there were meets where we put Bill Pilzik and Dean Hutchinson up on the diving boards to score a couple extra points against Florida because we didn't have any depth in diving to get us a couple of points. And, when they did a can opener, it really pissed off the diving coaches, but they had fun with it. But we don't have any, we're not going to put any can openers up on the diving boards, with the Cal team this year. The answer to your question, Brett, I think Eddie is a master of preparing his guys for NCAAs. Mm-hmm. I think he's a guy that has it, down, to me, to a real science of what he does with stuff. I think this year the strength of Cal is that 5th year class. And I do feel like the desire to win is as strong as it can be. So I think it's going to be an epic battle. Mm-hmm. And yes, you got to start off like they did at conference. When we were behind by 130 points behind Stanford, it's just that's just the reality of what it is going to be. That when you finish prelims, you're going to get a couple little whacks on the side of the head at halfway through the day when the diving comes through. Matt does a great job with the divers there, and he has the reputation there where he gets that extra half point based on his history. So you sort of know that's coming, and I think that when it comes to what can be the difference for Cal will be sort of the emerging guys. The emerging guys have to start, coming through at this level. And, and there were a lot of guys on, Dave had a lot of guys on shave for conference, which by the way, freaked me out. Cause I'm like, Dave, aren't you worried they're not going to get under the cut? Cause a lot of them were, they're on bubble times, but he just, Dave has a feeling for that. Cause, on that last weekend, what it takes. And fortunately 18 did qualify at the end of the day. So he has a full squad going. So I think we're in a good position to give Texas a really good meet. It's good, and honestly, Florida looks really good. NC State, I think still has a lot more in the hopper. So it may not be a 2-team battle, and in fact, I think some of the cases where you know, it's what's going to play out is some of the other teams in filling events really fast are going to make the environment quite a bit different, and they're going to tip the scores one way or the other. So you're going to have differentials of knocking somebody down into the consolations that normally would have been the finals because it's a super fast event, and you just hope you're not on the negative side of that. And in fact, at conference at Pac-12s, early in the meet, we got 9ths and 17ths. Later in the meet, we got 8ths and 16ths, and sometimes it's luck like that, Brett. You know that, and that's so you know, sort of the saying is, I'd rather be lucky than good, and so you sort of want to prepare as well as you can, and then you sort of got to put it in fate's hands a little bit.
Yeah, let me just ask one more question, Nate, here real quick. You know, we give a lot of love to Eddie, and Eddie absolutely deserves it. But look, reality is there's no man that's worked harder or been more consistent than Dave Durden over the last 10 years. You know, this man works hard. You know it. He's worked for you in the past, and now he's the head coach, and you're working for him. So as the roles of flip-flop here, David, what kind of credit do you give Dave Durden now as a head coach? Like, what's he doing well? Where's been the growth for him? How is he getting this level of consistency at the top?
Oh, I mean, I feel like he has the best men's team culture in the nation, and I would say Texas. People would say Texas does. You know, other schools might say others do, but I can say from the first year when I saw Dave come from Maryland and go into Cal, up until experiencing this from the inside out, they have a remarkable culture on the men's team, and it's not just a culture of performance. I mean, their conversations are about, you know, what they're professionally doing next. I mean, you know, Marcos, who was sort of a B player on the team, he ended up being on the A relay, the 200 free relay, you know, splitting 18, making finals in 100 breast. And he's a junior at Cal. And I said, well, what are you thinking for next year? He says, honestly, I'm going to go take a job at LinkedIn. You know, he's got a friggin' huge paying job his junior year. So I think that, you know, having coached at UCSD for 2 years and getting a feel for the UC system, I think it's remarkable, especially in this current culture of almost every level, not just expectations for professional success, but also expectations for sort of global benefit, I guess, whatever that would look like. To see a UC school doing this well in this time, I think is very impressive when it comes to athletics, because the big reward at a UC school, honestly, is not athletics. The big reward is a lot of other things, and there's tons of other priorities that a UC school has in terms, and probably appropriately, right? I mean, we're sitting here in the middle of a time when obviously what's going on in the globe should be a hell of a lot more concerning than what's happening in the swimming pool, but I would say that's the biggest thing I see Dave doing. And you talk about hard work, he is working extremely hard. Honestly, he never shuts down. He's sending workouts to the team beforehand. He's doing logistics. He's into the details. You know, you see his engineering background. You know, he was an engineer undergrad. You see his engineering background in the way he engineers this team and how he engineers practices. And so I've had some fun coming in and being able to sort of bring more, you know, my creativity and that kind of thing to the guys on the team, and they're very receptive to it. So, and they're receptive because they know Dave, you know, sort of endorses what I'm trying to do and approves it. So I think that goes a long way. And yeah, I think you know, he has a really good weight room situation. Got a great trainer. You know how important that kind of stuff is to know you have that. But honestly, he's pedaling the pedals, you know, full speed. He's not cruising at all here.
Yeah. Nate, have you got any more questions for Dave before I have
got
one
a lot
more?
of questions before you leave, Coach. How does this little French kid go 41.0 or 41.1 or 40.9 or whatever he went on the back of the end of a relay when he's a 400 IMer? I just don't. It just blew me away.
Well, just look at his underwater video. I mean, he's kicking to 15 meters on every wall. In fact, I have a slow video. I'm learning stuff. And this is something I think the young kids, coaches and young kids need to understand this. It's not a joke when we say underwater kicking is the second fastest way to swim.
it may be the first fastest way if you're good enough like him. I mean, he is kicking to 15 meters as fast as Bjorn. And Bjorn's, an 18.550 guy in the meet. And he is keeping up with him in the 100. And I'm not sure working the 50, but in the 100 off of walls and to 15 meters with his underwater kicking. And what Bob said after the meet when we were talking about him, and when Brett, you remember when we were back at Auburn, his father, Xavier, who is also an IMer, used to come over to Auburn and train with us at different times. And so he has an understanding of a background. His father was a world-class IMer, but a power guy. His son is a flow guy. He is not even strong yet. This guy is a little guy in terms of size, but very, very has an amazing relationship with the water. So that is how he's going those times. And and you look at his 400 IM and 200 IM. In the 400 IM, I got that he's staying underwater about a minute and 40 seconds in the 400 IM. So he's and when he's not just staying underwater, he's traveling fast while being underwater. So and it's also not he's not good without underwaters because he was a finalist in the Olympics in the 400 IM. So he's a phenom, and Bob says he's one of the nicest guys ever. Very very engaging, very motivated, willing to do whatever it takes. So you get a magical guy like that every once in a while as a coach. I think Bob's had one before. This is another great project for Bob. Unfortunately for USA anyway, he's French, but that's good for Jocko and his new job, and it'd be a good project for the future. But I think that when you look at a guy being able to swim the 400 IM at that speed and the 100 free at that speed, all I can tell you is a lot of it is underwater, and it's not that he's not fast out of the water. But he's doing a lot of great work underwater.
Awesome.
Yeah, incredible. To transfer from short course yards and just not skip a beat, it's really impressive. And then the other question I had was about this big Swedish kid that's been on our radar for a long time, but now he wins 3 events just like Leon, and he wins the 100 backstroke without a time, I think. Did you guys think he was actually had a chance to win the 100 backstroke before going into the meet?
Yeah, I saw him train.
Yeah.
He was going to do the 100 fly, but he started doing some backstroke in practice, and he grew up like so many great swimmers do. He grew up a backstroker. Alexander Popov grew up a backstroker. Tom Jager grew up a backstroker. There's something about the rhythm of backstroke when you're young and just really understanding the flow of that stroke. I believe because there's no breathing issues. You just learn how to swim from your body. That he did, and he's 6'8". He's a big guy. He's also detail oriented. The guy is always thinking swimming. I think a little too much, to be honest with you. That's another problem with some of these UC kids that are super smart. It's like their brains are just always going. And so my encouragement to him since I've been here is like calm down. Sometimes calm, another word down. But but he is he's a rising star in the sport, no doubt about it. And he's a guy that I think he loves the 50, but honestly is probably better in the 100. His 100 back will have a great future. And so I think he'll be a fun guy to watch over the years, and I think haven't seen his best swimming yet.
All right, last question here. SECs, they got 4 weeks off, 4 weeks in between the SEC meet, NCAA meet. You guys, you got 2 weeks. Pac-12's always been like that. It's always been a little bit later. Pros and cons with the 2 week difference?
I mean, I'm not the guy to ask that because I'm so programmed to having more time to do things in between the 2 meets that I would say that I would go that way, obviously. Like right now, this morning at practice, I was playing with Reese's start a little bit, and you can't reinvent things right now. Just try to tweak things just a little bit is all you can do. And so I sort of prefer being able to make bigger adjustments. And I felt like at Auburn, we won a lot of our championships between conference and NCAAs when we'd see how they were doing racing at full speed. And we shaved our guys usually for conference, but a lot of times didn't rest them that much. And then we'd make calls on whether to really drop them down or to keep them up a little bit, or make, technical adjustments, sometimes even event adjustments between conference and NCAAs when we look at what the strength is of the conference of the NCAAs is. Now, with the Pac-12, I'm not sure they have time to do that, to really sort of take time to get back to some work. But I will say, this morning, sort of to my surprise, to be honest with you, but I think, again, this is part of the long-term use, Dave Durden culture is, he texted me last night, hey, we're going to go long course tomorrow morning and stretch it out. And who does long course between conference and NCAAs? Well, that's the Cal culture. So they're, even when they're preparing for NCAAs, they sort of are peaking toward the future of the World Championships and World Championship trials. So it's not, so the definition of success at Cal isn't, what I'm seeing anyway, isn't just the short course pool. It's they're definitely got an eyeball on the long course pool as well, and making sure that is something that stays on the radar. And for some of the swimmers, they're not like bulk. Most of the guys aren't very bulky. They're more flow swimmers. So they're not like the power guys. They don't do a ton of power racks and short blasty stuff. They're much more flow. I would consider like what I'd say flow type swimmers, where they're a little more distance per stroke and those kind of things. And they probably, they might be able to find some more success in short course if they powered up a little bit more. But I think it probably cost them in the long course pool.
All right, last question here, David. As we know, big job opening this week came out, and names are being thrown around. I was one of them. You were one of them. I'm not interested in being the head coach at USC. There you go. Said it straight. I'm happy working for Fitter and Faster Swim Clinics. I love my job. I love doing the podcast. I love doing the live shows. I love working with Nate. I am completely happy where I am, what I'm doing. So thanks for putting my name out there, but you can remove it. I'm not interested. But your name was thrown around too. Is there any interest from your side in being the head coach at USC?
Here's what I'm interested in, Brett, and it's interesting because I'm going to evade your question a little bit but I've also told several schools, including Auburn and other schools, that I'm interested in mentoring people, and I think there's some shape of a job, and it may be what Jack Bowerly's doing now, where you oversee things from a sort of a director or a mentor perspective, and then a program runs. Personally, I love San Diego. I'm sort of a Southeast guy. I have found a lot of love for San Diego. I have picked up surfing. And LA isn't San Diego. But I think that certainly being here, I'm here at Cal when things are the most exciting, the most energized. This is the part we all love about college swimming. So I'm getting a sort of artificial taste of college again, and certainly I love it. It's awesome. The going back and being in all those meetings and being, that's a different conversation. So I would say I would love to help somebody be successful at USC, because USC is one of those schools that should be developing a lot of our USA national team athletes and world-class athletes. And it is to some degree now, and Leah's done about as good a job as I think, as far as if I looked at the team, that what they've done this year, their women's team is amazing, honestly. And they have some talent on sort of both sides at the top end. So they're not going to walk in. A coach isn't going to walk in there with sort of empty shelves. There's going to be some talent there, and Lee has again done a good job there with what she's been left with this year. I was thoroughly impressed with her sort of command and admiration of the team at the men's championship, and the parents, clearly loved her. So I feel like she's certainly got to be, considered to be retained as the coach. At the same time, I do think, world-class swimming should be happening at USC.
Yep, I agree. Well, listen, take it for what it is. Whatever you heard it there, so that's cool. Appreciate it. Listen, in the meantime, next few weeks, you got your work cut out for you. try and figure out a way to hold that trophy above your heads. That'd be pretty cool. Good luck with it. You know, I know you and Durden know what you're doing, and you work real well together. You got a team that is very well prepared, very capable. So just best of luck. All right.
Thank you. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I can't. It's fun that it's in Atlanta too. I'll get to go see my parents up in Blue Ridge after the meet, so I'll make it a good time back in the Southeast.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Later. All right.
It's always
There
a
you
treat
go.
to have him on.
Yeah. Love David giving us his take, and man, what a run there they had. You know, pretty cool that he came in and they won that championship. And listen, like I said, it came down to the last day. They were 100 points behind. This was not a given. I mean, they earned that championship. That's
The
pretty
diving
cool.
thing it's the Achilles heel.
Diving thing's the Achilles heel, man. Yeah. You
They
know?
always want to say we're the best swimming team.
Yeah.
Which
Let me
they typically are.
You just talk real quick about something. I'm going to change shirts.
Oh, no problem. I guess that was a USC funny. Well, we got a lot of stuff. There was a lot of fast swimming going on this weekend. Tier Pro Swim Series, which obviously you just got back from Chicago, Westmont. Katie Ledecky was there, Dressel was there, Michael Andrew was there, Bruno the Fratis was there. How was you only spent like a day? You only spent the 50 freestyle in Chicago?
Yeah, we were there the last day, Saturday, and got to hang out with a lot of people. I mean, it was a beautiful pool, and but not a lot of people there, so it was pretty cool that you had a couple of heats. Most people made it back to either an A or B final, and it was just some good top end racing, So that was cool. Yeah, it was all right. I liked it. It was a great venue. Like I said, if you could pack that place out because the stands were packed, kids and parents, and I mean there was like 1,500 people in the grandstands on the nighttime swims, especially on Saturday. So that was pretty cool.
We got a rich history of swimming in that area. 1972 Olympic Trials was held right there. There's a lot of good swim teams there. So when you're at a swim meet, it's way different than watching it on television or a stream or whatever. Who kind of, if you got to see some events, did you see anyone that like kind of popped, like that your eye was like, whoa, didn't know about this person, or this person looked really good? Or
I'd never seen two people swim before. I'd never seen Shane Casus swim before, and he's physically imposing. I'm like, wow. I mean, super long legs, super long arms. Seems to be pretty relaxed when he's behind the blocks and composed when he's racing. I was impressed with Shane Casus. So that was cool to see him up close and personal. And then the other one was the Claire girl, Claire
Curzan.
Claire Curzan, yeah, she's impressive. Yeah, I mean, young but impressive. And again, I'd never seen her race before, so she's going to be a name that's just in my head from now on. Once I see her more and that sort of thing. But she's a star of the future, not just a good. This girl's a superstar. She's going to be around for a while. She's going to be a big name leading into Paris.
In many events.
Definitely one to watch. This girl can race everything. Yeah, I was super impressed with Claire Curzan.
Yeah, Team USA needs her 100 freestyle, on these relays in Paris probably. And she has that ability to be a huge relay supporter for Team USA, and we on the women's side we certainly need it.
Yeah.
But she won a best time in the 200 backstroke. She's kind of like Shane. They're both similar, right? They could both swim freestyle, both swim backstroke, both swim butterfly, which is unique.
Both mega talents, those two. Michael Andrew obviously had a great meet. There was some other great swims out there, but those two were kind of two that jumped out as pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, Michael Andrew swimming longer stuff, but I mean he cleaned up on his short races. Anytime you can go and beat Caleb Dressel and everybody else, it's a good meet, and that's what Claire did too. She got up there and she beat the world record holder in the 100 fly and all these big name swimmers. So the whole weekend was just full of fast swimming.
Yeah, it was cool. It's cool to watch, and we didn't kill it, ourselves, but we're in the meat of our season. We're working on stuff, so we'll get better as we go, Bruno and I. So we'll get there.
Tim Chang saying Leah Hayes. Yep, she went 2:11.2 in the 200 AM twice, and she won it.
Was that the young girl?
Yep, and she won 200 freestyle as well.
Yeah, she was impressive too. That was cool to see her race. I'd never seen her before.
Yeah, I think 21.7 right now in the middle of training. That's a pretty impressive time. And he's swimming. I mean, who in America can go 59.0? And we just don't even have that many breaststrokers in general.
I mean, we're what, 6 weeks out from a world champ trials. I mean, who's not in heavy training? If you're not swimming NCAAs, you're in heavy training. So that's a given for everybody. Everybody responds differently. Some people perform outstandingly in heavy training. Others, it's a taxing. It hits them hard and they taper really well. But so the heavy training thing doesn't mean much to me. Everyone's in heavy training right now. If you're not going to NCAA, so but everyone just responds differently.
Going down under here, New South Wales had some championship meets, so I think Bowley's entire team was there. Did Cody swim in that meet?
Cody swam, yeah. Cody got on the podium a couple of times and swam really well. Didn't win anything, but was on the podium in a few events and made finals and everything. So yeah, did really well. I was happy with him. He's putting himself up in those final races, which is good. But yeah, it was a good meet. Shayna Jack swimming crazy fast.
Best
I think she was like 53 flat, wasn't she, in the 100?
53.1.
Yeah, super quick. And then Titmus, hadn't heard much of her, since the games, and wasn't exactly sure where she was at. But I mean, she just laid it out and told us all where she was at. I mean, she was like 154 in the 200 there, and it's like, geez. I mean, other great swims, but yeah, just pretty cool.
Yeah, crazy fast.
Yeah.
Faster than I thought she was going to be. I mean, she basically almost broke 4 minutes as well.
Yeah, that's right. She was 4 minutes in the 400.
4 minutes flat. Yep.
Yeah.
The only person that was more impressive out of this whole entire week of fast swimming was Summer McIntosh.
Yeah, Summer McIntosh. Wow. I mean, breaking a couple of world junior records right on the same weekend where her coach of the head coach of Canada was announced that they're not renewing his contract, and then on the same weekend, boom, she just drops two of the fastest times in history.
The two fastest times in history.
Well, for her age, yeah.
For
but
a junior.
But in terms of like world swimming, she was like number 3 all time.
Yep. Exactly.
In the 4 a.m.,
4:29.
That's quick, man. That girl can swim, dude. She talk about superstars of the future. That's a superstar of the future.
Yeah, and she's going to be able to come down from those. I mean, those are the two big, the events for tough folks, the 4 a.m. and the 2 fly, but she can swim the 2 free. She can swim the 2 IM. She's got all these kids. They're so versatile,
Yeah. Here's a young superstar of the future, Charlotte Crush.
Yeah.
So Chip was a teammate of mine. Mimi was a teammate of mine at Auburn. So they're both teammates of mine at Auburn. They ended up dating in college. They ended up getting married, having these kids, and then these kids are like super fast, crazy. I mean, Chip was an NCAA champion, part of our team. Mimi was an individual 100 fly champion. So the talent in that family is undoubted. I mean, I think she was like 51 flat something in the 100 fly on the weekend as a 13-year-old.
Yeah, and you can't get a better name than that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
she's
headlines, crushing it. Yep. So
there's a little history on those two.
All right.
Parents.
NCAAs for women coming up. We are 1 week away from kickoff of that, 2 weeks away from the men's there in Georgia. Some of the lineups are coming out. I was kind of surprised. I read a few things of some of the bigger names not swimming the events that they typically swim. Like a Matt Sates, I think he's not going to swim the IM.
Yeah, he's not. He's swimming the 2 free, 4, the 5 free, and then the what was the last day? It was
2 fly, I think he's swimming.
Yeah, 2 fly. Yeah, that was kind of surprising. I didn't know he was that stacked in the 2 fly, but I guess he
Yeah, and
is.
it seems like a lot of people are opting out of not a lot of people. There's a couple guys not swimming the 500, and that would typically swim the 500. I think Dean Ferris isn't swimming isn't he the reigning champion? He's not swimming the one of his events. He's swimming the 50 free instead.
I don't think he's swimming the 200 free.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, he's not
Yep.
doing the 2 free. I was
I
like,
think he's the champion, right? Isn't he the?
yeah, it's like 129.
Yep. So,
I don't know.
but his backstroke's good. So, we'll see.
It better be.
But for women's NCAA championships, what event are you looking forward to the most?
I mean, the 50 free is stacked. I want to see a couple of girls possibly get under that 21 mark, like at the big meet, at the NCAAs, to get a couple of girls going 20 point. I mean, wouldn't that be ridiculous? How
I
cool
think we
would that
will.
be?
Yeah. I mean, Gretchen Walsh just went 21:03 at
Yep.
of UVA. Like
A couple of those
intersquad meet or something.
UVA girls, right? They're right there.
Kate Douglas.
Kate Douglas, another one.
Is Maggie McNeil swimming the 50 free?
She usually does, yeah.
Tori Husk.
Yeah, I mean,
Stanford.
it's stacked. It's a stacked meet.
Yeah. Other than the 50 free, the 100 fly's got to be the
100 fly.
the event that, I mean, it's going to be Husk, Maggie McNeil. Yeah,
Reagan,
there you go. Reagan
Kate.
Smith. It's just
stacked.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun. So I think we're going to be going live like we normally do for big swim meets, and if you guys want to watch it with us.
Yeah, let's go live. Why not? Next week, right?
Yep, starting next week. So
I'll be in California, so let's do it.
We'll get that rolling. Other than that,
Kyle, you tell us, mate. You're the commentator. Kyle, in the comments section, can you tell us, are you commentating NCAAs, or are you going to be on our live show and give us a little rundown live? What do you think, Kyle? Come on, mate. We're going to put you on the spot right now. Let's see what he says. Dun, 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 dun. Is he commentating? Is he going to go live? He's got to be tweeting at the same time. He's got a lot of stuff going on, this man. He's busy.
I see what he's saying. Like, they just went fast. They broke all these records. They're going to go faster. And I'm going to say yes, because that's typically what Todd DeSorbo's swimmers do.
Yes, look at that.
All right,
we did it live. We pulled him in live. He can't get out now. He's in.
Now we just got to make sure we all have live streams.
That was my question, right? Remember, I asked that question. Who did I interview from UVA? I've interviewed a couple of them, but I asked them that question as well. It's like, how's this going to go? I've done so many interviews lately. Actually, I just stacked up a couple yesterday. I got some today. So if I'm a little ditzy, please forgive me.
It's all right. All right. On the pod this week, we had on Monday 5-time world masters champion Cindy Ong from Malaysia.
Yeah, cool. Just getting a master's perspective, how they train, how they think, how they fit it in, all that kind of thing. Just doing the master's thing for the first time, exploring that space a little bit. She's a 5-time champion. So
I thought it was a super interesting story. Like, hey, she swam at D2 Drury. She was a good swimmer, not a great swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up having a slew of children, had 3 kids, didn't swim, and came back to it. And she kind of said like she had to relearn the sport, like all these new technique things and rule changes. And then she started realizing like she didn't have a lot of time on her hands. She needs to be going faster in practice. So she cut down her yardage from 4K to 2K, only 3 times a week, but then supplementing that with like a lot of really neat things outside of the pool, like a lot of stuff on stability balls and a lot of explosive things. Like if you follow her on Instagram, she's always in her condo on her yoga mat doing something. I think there's a lot of masters people that are out there that were excited, like, all right, finally we got a masters swimmer to talk about. I
lost it.
Mine does that too sometimes. So Cindy Ong, she was great. If you didn't listen to that one, listen to it again. There was a big clip about all the different things that she did outside the pool. One of the cool things she did that I haven't really heard anyone say is she took her tempo trainer from the pool and she just brought it into the dry lands, and then she was doing things like med ball work, trying to keep the same tempo as her 100 fly or her 100 free.
Yeah, I found that interesting. Felt like I should have told her to get on the Vasa trainer. She could have done it on that.
Yeah, exactly. That would be like the best thing to do.
Yeah, get on the Vasa trainer.
So, and then we have Shane Casus. So
Shane Casus, yeah, interviewed him yesterday, and it was cool. A lot of good stuff there. I might put out a clip today, actually.
Yeah, let's just play a clip right now, because he said this is what his event lineup is. We talked a lot about World Champs trials, so here's what he's swimming.
I mean, you got World Trials here in about 6 weeks, so it's not that far away. Have you had a chance to sit down with Eddie and figure out kind of your race schedule for trials yet?
I don't know if I have the text with me, but I know that 100 fly, 100 back, 2 back, and maybe 2 IM are, I think for sure 2 IM are like on my schedule, but I think my day one I have nothing. So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out. And it's, do I try the 100 free, or I don't know if 2 flies the first day, but I don't think I could handle that many 200s, prelim, semis, finals, like obviously if I make the meet and all that in them, on top of 50s, because why would you not want to do the 50? It's almost a free event.
Yeah, do the 50, man. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Get him on the 50, man. I liked his Pablo Escobar shirt. I love the fact that his bed was made, room was clean. I like that.
All right, well, that's it for today on the live show. Yeah, we're gonna go live for the NCAA championships, women's and men's. Maybe not every single time when we got lives and stuff. It's a long thing, but yeah, it's gonna be exciting. We've been waiting for it. We've been waiting for a big swim meet. This is gonna be the most epic NCAA championship we've had in a while. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, dude. I'm really looking forward to watching these women kick some ass and swim really fast.
Yep. Can't wait, man. All right. Appreciate everybody. See you next week.